Hey guys, it's Purple Ferret here, and welcome back to another video. It's another speed paint because I'm trying to make them more often so that my channel doesn't die in between whenever I post bigger projects. And I do have a couple of bigger projects that I would like to get done, and it's easier to get those done if I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna post next. So that's why I'm trying to do a bunch of speed paints and get the backlog going. The plan is post once every 2 weeks just to make sure I don't have to make as many because there are a lot of weeks in a year and cutting that in half does make things easier. On the subject of what I'm actually working on right now, I decided to go back to painting the Ghost Kids and paint all of them except for Cassidy this time because I'm basing this off of Happiest Day a little bit, and in Happiest Day, there's only one Golden Freddy spirit, so I felt like including Cassidy would not really fit, because if there are two Golden Freddy spirits and only one of them was present, then it wasn't Cassidy. I guess the idea behind this was really they're about to go do Happiest Day and they're inviting him to the party. The way that Happiest Day is laid out, the best way to view it is from the side profile because everyone's at a table and Golden Freddy's at one end of the table and everyone else is at the other end. And condensing that to where they're all in one spot was difficult with the table. I did a test sketch in a sketchbook. It didn't go well. At this point, I hadn't picked out who the kids were yet, aside from the crying child, and I knew who I wanted Charlie to be. I then also decided who I wanted Susie to be because I really liked the pose of the one down here, and I was like, yep, that one's Susie. After that, I just went around and kind of imagined which one would be which, and then was all like, okay, this one's gonna be Jeremy, which is Bonnie. And then the next one I chose was Fritz, and I decided that the super high energy one right next to the crying child really fit with the idea I had of the spirit possessing Foxy. And then by process of elimination, I had the one that's standing beside Charlie be Gabriel, so Freddy. You probably noticed the slight struggle with Gabriel's legs and then the ultimate giving up. I do come back to them and I do think they turn out kind of well. It's just awkward with his feet being behind Fritz. It kind of looks weird. And I also just didn't like his entire position of his upper body, so I had to fix it before I came back and did the legs, and I think we got pretty much as good as it's going to get with that. I also was not sure what to do with his arms, so I just put them crossed because he can't really reach the crying child, or Dave. He can't reach Dave, so he can't exactly be supportive, and not everyone needs to be resting a hand on him. Kind of just wanted one character to be resting a hand on him. I do actually switch who's resting a hand on him, which may or may not have been a good choice because I felt like the fist motion that I have Jeremy doing fit with Foxy more, and so I made Fritz do that, and so I swapped what they're doing, and he's resting a hand on his shoulder, but because his arm is almost entirely hidden behind Susie, it doesn't really read very well. So I'm gonna try and fix that when I get to the line art. Spoilers, I have not made it to the line art while I'm recording this because I felt like part of the process is taking a break from your art and coming back to it. And I felt like the best way to do that would be to start recording the voiceover as I'm working. That way, when I'm ready to go back to my art and work on it, I have slightly fresh eyes because I was watching the process and I'm seeing it as an outsider instead of it being my first time through and actively making the decisions as I'm going. But then I'm also working on the video, so hopefully when I finish the artwork and when I finish the video happen closer together now instead of happening further apart. I took multiple sessions to finish the last one, and then I put off the video for so long, and then I didn't post the art for so long either. I post the art on Tumblr. I can maybe link that in the description now that I think about it. I have not promoted my Tumblr at all because I don't post that much, actually. I post more things than what I have speed paints for, though, so you'll see art that I didn't record. So if you want to see more art that you've never seen before from me, check out my Tumblr, link in description if I remember. It was at this point that I realized I had been using an extremely dark gray and not black for the line art, and it was fine because I could easily fix it when I actually did the line art, but it was also really annoying to fix here because the colors didn't look right next to the gray, so I had to get rid of the gray so that the colors would look right. And I brought in some references for color for the characters that I either already drew or I was using their more or less canon design. We never see, like, that Susie, we never see what her lower half looks like. So I based her lower half more on the Silverized trilogy version of Susie, but I used more so the colors from Fruity Maze, though. I did have to do some color adjusting so that they would look more right because the lighting on her isn't exactly the same as the situation that she's in mine, so I had to shift it a little. And so her skin tone comes out a little purple-ish whenever I color pick from it. And so I colored picked it and just adjusted it a little. The dress color was really hard. I kept the hair pretty much close, and then putting her hair next to the crying child made me realize how yellow his skin tone is from the reference image I got. So I toned down the yellow of his skin tone by shifting it towards an orange and then lightening it a little bit just so that the red of the orange shouldn't make him look darker. So his skin tone looks a little bit more natural than it does on the sprite. I'm back for another recording session. I didn't finish recording last time, and then I did more art, so this is post line art phase. At this point, I remembered that the background being deactivated was actually causing problems, and the reason that I had it exist before was so that I could make sure that I got the transparency on the colors of the characters correct, because the brush is slightly transparent, which is useful for whenever I'm coloring things and I want it to be a little bit lighter in some areas during the shading phase, but when I'm actually doing the flat colors, it's a little annoying. Anyway, the thing I was saying earlier about me getting to the line art stage is I am still at the line art stage as of now, so the artwork is not completely finished yet, but all of the characters' line art is completely done, and since I have base colors down, it should be relatively easy to fix and shade. I will be honest though, I did struggle a little bit with the line art phase because there were a lot of things I didn't account for during the sketch phase that I was like, I'll figure that out, and then I really regretted doing that. Like Charlie's legs, I was all like, yeah, I'll figure that out. She's standing about here, so it's fine. It was not fine. I also wasn't sure exactly where her like wristband thingy would go, so I had to deal with that too. It was not terrible placement, but I feel like if I had planned better, I could have made it more visible. I also, in making the color phase, realized how similar Charlie and the crying child kind of look because of their shirts both being black with stripes on them. I didn't have Charlie's go across the midsection, just on the arms, but because I took his relatively canon design and I made up a design for her that fit what I wanted, they kind of overlap a little bit because his design really makes him look like he's the spirit possessing the puppet, which is probably why people thought he was. I decided to speed up the footage a little faster as the video went on because the footage so far is not too long, but I had a feeling that if I got to the end of the line art phase and it was nearing 20 minutes at only 10 times speed, that I had to speed up the line art phase to 20 times speed. Otherwise, the video was going to end up a little bit long, and I don't want to talk that long, and I don't think you all want to listen to me talk that long, so yeah. I prefer around 20 minutes. 15 is like the sweet spot for me. So, I made a teensy weensy little mistake. This is me 3 days after what I just said. I got a little carried away with the coloring by accident. I wanted it to look really nice, and so I went overboard with the lighting a little bit. I think it looks good and it was worth it, but it took forever. So this video is going to get out on time, but it means I don't have a backlog started yet, so I'm probably going to have to start drawing as soon as I finish editing this video. I also sped up the speed paint a little faster again. Now it's around 30 to 40 depending on the clip. I just kind of clicked in the general area. It's not an exact I typed in the number thing. It's significantly faster than the 10, and I feel like I should just go faster from now on if I'm going to do bigger pieces like this. I also discovered that, less discovered and more remembered that I could use a selection on a separate layer to color on a different layer. So I was selecting on the line art layer to color in and erase on the character layer. That came in handy a lot. I was very done doing things by hand at that point. I really didn't want to do things by hand, and it was actively impeding my progress. And so I remembered, hey, you don't have to do this the hard way. You can do it the easy way and no one's going to judge you. In fact, they're probably judging you for doing it the hard way, so just do it the easy way. This is at the point in the video where I was like, oh, I'm almost done. I'll be done in like the next session that I work on this. And I was in fact not. I took several breaks because I had been working that long and had shrimp posture. And shrimp posture is not good for you. And usually I'm better at avoiding it, but I was just so focused, and then I realized that my face was going to my drawing tablet and not the drawing tablet coming to my face. And so I needed a break. I also needed a break between finishing it and actually recording the voiceover for it, because I finished it, I got all the clips and stuff in there, and I edited them to be fast, and then I looked at it and looked at how it was basically halfway through the video, meaning I had halfway to go, and I said, not today, no, tomorrow. And so I'm recording this the day after I finished. So it only took me 2 days to draw it, but to actually get motivated to finish the video, that took an extra day. Sorry. Remember how useful the lasso tool was? It also caused a problem right about here, where I realized I accidentally did it on the line art layer. So, lesson learned, check your layers. That's basically rule number 1 of digital art, is check your layers. Which is kind of why I limit myself to layers, so that I don't end up with that problem. But, mistakes happen. Now we're getting to the part where it started to look really good, and I was really excited about it. I almost was all like, yeah, it's done. And then I kept noticing little things that I felt like didn't look as polished as the rest, so I went back and fixed those. And here we are at the final reveal. As always, this is my favorite part, because I get to compare with the sketch and really figure out, oh hey, things look real different now that I changed literally everything about it. And I just think it's fun for everyone else too. No one said anything otherwise, so I'm gonna assume everyone either hates it and doesn't want to say anything, or likes it too. Hopefully it's the latter option. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks for another speed paint that I haven't recorded yet, and hopefully it's a good one. Also, quick side note, I upload these as soon as I finish them, or as soon as I remember to upload them, up on my Tumblr, and I know I mentioned that earlier in the video, but I figured I should mention it now just in case you all forgot, and I will definitely remember to put it in the description since I said it twice this video. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Bye!